On a warm summer day, Max went out for a hike. He carried a backpack any hiker would like. He smelled the wildflowers and walked the rugged ground. What a joy to be outside, where nature is always found. As he was walking along, enjoying the breeze, Max heard a sound somewhere in the trees. He looked to the left, and he looked to the right, to see what gave him such an awful fright. His life flashed before his eyes. Max was frozen with fear. Just above him, the branches shook. He knew the creature was near. All of a sudden, an owl appeared in the tree. Realizing his mistake, Max laughed aloud with glee. It's just an owl, he thought. There's nothing to fear. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of in here. He ventured further into the wood, taking in the experience as much as he could. As he walked along enjoying the breeze, Max heard a sound somewhere in the trees. He looked to the left, and he looked to the right, to see what gave him such an awful fright. His life flashed before his eyes. Max was frozen with fear. The bushes began to shake. He knew the creature was near. Suddenly, a deer appeared just up ahead. And realizing his mistake, Max just shook his head. It's just a deer, he thought. There's nothing to fear. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of in here. He traveled even further into the wood, taking in the experience as much as he could. As he was walking along enjoying the trees, Max heard a sound somewhere in the breeze. He looked to the left, and he looked to the right, to see what gave him such an awful fright. His life flashed before his eyes. Max was frozen with fear. He heard a growl. He knew the creature was near. Max flew to a tree and climbed to the top. Just in the nick of time as a bear came out with a pop. It sniffed and pawed looking for food. The bear, it seemed, was in a very hungry mood. It's a big bear, Max thought. There certainly is something to fear. There's absolutely something to be afraid of in here. How long he would stay there, he didn't know. All he knew now was that he couldn't go home. The bear finally left, but now it was growing late. Just to be safe, Max decided to wait. Up in the treetops, sitting under the starry night, Max rummaged through his bag, looking for a light. He found a flashlight and shined it all around. Now, he said, I need to get to the ground. Once on the ground, he started his trek. Along the way, he stopped for a sec. In front of Max, lying on the trail, was something scary that made him yell. It was a set of footprints as large as could be. It's Bigfoot, Max screamed. He's coming after me. He ran through the forest and came to a stop. In front of him now was a cave in a rock. Max entered the cave and examined the scene. All in all, the cavern was quite clean. He saw a bed, a table, and a warm fire. Max wondered if this belonged to some great sire. The homeowner would return. Max was sure of that. Perhaps he'd even let Max borrow a map. Max dropped his gear and climbed into bed. Here he could sleep with nothing to dread. The next morning he woke up from a dream. Max rubbed his eyes and tried to scream. Across the room was a creature large in size. It was Bigfoot. Max couldn't believe his eyes. He knew now who owned this cave. It was Bigfoot's. Max prayed to be saved. Bigfoot was curious about this new friend. He could study Max for hours on end. Bigfoot grunted, then left to go out. He fetched his breakfast with a great shout. Then Bigfoot came back to cook his fish. He prepared such a magnificent dish. He waved Max to come over and eat. Bigfoot was quite generous. He even gave Max his good seat. Now really good friends, they finished their meal. Max thought, I'm with Bigfoot. This is so unreal. Soon enough, the time came for Max to go home, and for the end of this little poem. As the sun was rising in the sky, Max and Bigfoot waved each other goodbye. Then Max hit the road, as they say. He was sure he'd be back again someday.